We're going to predict all of the WWE PLE main events from now until WrestleMania 41, including night 1 and night 2 of Mania. So WWE Bad Blood is the next one that's coming up. I am torn on what WWE is going to do. They're either going to give us the Hell in a Cell as the main event, or they're going to go with the Cody Roman Bloodline tag team match as the main event. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. In Cody's hometown. Roman's made his return. This will be Roman's first match since WrestleMania. And of course, put your ones up for the Tribal Chief, because Tribal Chief is very important to WWE. I don't know what they're gonna do. I asked the community online what you guys thought, and the majority of people said that Punk Drew will main event, should main event. Most people said that it should main event because it's a Hell in a Cell match with Bad Blood. When WWE has done the Bad Blood pay-per-views in the past, they have made the Hell in a Cell as main event. Personally, I think that the Hell in a Cell match should main event because it is the larger story. It is the one that WWE has been building for such a long time. I think these guys deserve the main event. I kind of worried that because Roman came back and they announced this match for Bad Blood, that they would want to put Roman Cody. It's the biggest acts in WWE. You'd think that they're just going to shove them in the main event. However, WWE has been doing a bit of a balancing act where they take Cody Rhodes, for example, and he opens up a PLE and he's the opening match. Just it's Roman Reigns. I just don't think that they're gonna take Roman Reigns and put him in an opener. Could be a lot of shenanigans though. So I am going to go with Punk, Drew, main event Bad Blood. Crown Jewel is up next. Now Crown Jewel is typically now it is canon with WWE, and the Saudis, they want big names. They want their Goldbergs. They want their Brock Lesnar's. They're not gonna get Goldberg. As much as Bret Hart wants to have a match with Bill Goldberg. Because you got Roman in a tag team match and at Bad Blood, and I do think that something big will go down at Bad Blood in that tag match. For example, the debut of Hikuleo. Maybe he finally debuts for the Bloodline, maybe costing Cody and Roman the match in the tag match. Or it's the Bloodline dominating them at the end of the night, and Jimmy makes his return, trying to foreshadow into War Games. Whatever happens at Bad Blood, I think is going to tee up the singles match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel. Roman needs to get his hands on Solo officially. The problem I have with Solo is how he's been presented for months. He keeps losing. He's lost to Cody twice. The Bloodline keeps getting dummied by Cody and Roman. And in a one-on-one match, Solo ain't beating Roman Reigns unless there is like massive interference and they want to do that. And that's where I think like, okay, you get all the Bloodline in there. Hikuleo might debut a Crown Jewel to kind of even the odds, and they set him up in a big way. But I do think that regardless, the outcome, I think that Roman Solo is probably your Crown Jewel main event, or Roman and Jacob Fatu. Roman versus Jacob Fatu, I am way more interested in seeing at some point. I don't care what it is. I want to see that match. Roman goes into the cage on SmackDown and he starts waving over at Jacob Fatu. Two of them are going to go at it. They're teasing that. That is going to happen. That could be WrestleMania. You don't know with Roman Reigns. But the Bloodline is the big story now, once again, for the remainder of the year and into Mania. It's a Roman Reigns show. Okay, Survivor Series. This is interesting because there's a couple of dynamics, because we don't know if Hikuleo is going to show up at any point. It even is going to happen. And we don't know that they're going to do a Bloodline War Games match, but it does feel like because they're going to have just over 2 months to build this thing, War Games is going to happen at the end of November. They do have enough time to get the pieces in place. You're not going to have Roman Reigns on TV every single week from now till War Games. So you got to try to build this story if you are going to go down the path of a War Games match. Because we are getting the Cody Roman tag team match of Bad Blood, it really does feel like Cody is still going to be wrapped in the Bloodline. Although I do wish he would go off and go fight Randy or something else and get out of this whole thing. But that's my personal pick right there. I think that you are going to get Bloodline versus Old Bloodline, New Bloodline versus Old Bloodline at War Games as the main event match. Yes, I do think that there will be a women's War Games match. Maybe it'd be a Judgment Day War Games match. I don't know. On paper as it stands right now, I don't see any of the women and the factions they have, anything put together that would warrant a War Games match. So I could see them doing like Judgment Day, New Judgment Day with Liv going up against Terror Twins, Jey Uso. Maybe they want to do like Sammy, and then that's your match. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do over there. But I do think that the big War Games match that they really are kind of teeing up here is going to be New Bloodline. And if it's 4v4, then you have Solo, Jacob, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa. There's your 4 going up against Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. You could do Randy and Kevin Owens as the other 2, in case they're not moving them into a heel mode or anything, or feuding against each other or going after Cody. So if Randy and Kevin are kind of just spinning their wheels a little bit, I can see them putting them into the War Games match as Cody's allies. They got beef with Roman Reigns for years. Could be an interesting dynamic. Kind of full circle because they've been fighting. Randy, Kevin, Cody have been dealing with New Bloodline since WrestleMania and even before that. So I could see that as the 4-person. That's also a huge, heavy hitting team going up against Bloodline. If they don't do that combination, I could see them doing Cody, Roman, Jimmy J. You get the original Bloodline, the 3 of them, plus Cody, going up against the 4 members of New Bloodline. Now, if Hikuleo is there, then I think you got a 5v5, you add in Sami Zayn, and then you got your Bloodline. I almost wish that, honestly, that Cody was not in there. It makes sense for the story that they're telling with Bloodline. All this stuff keeps going and The Rock is looming around in there. But I do wish that Cody was out of that War Games, if it does happen, because I want to see just the original. I want to see Roman, Jimmy J, and Sammy going up against Bloodline. Maybe they will do that, and maybe Cody will be off doing a match against Randy, kind of like a Kevin Owens style match. Main event, Bloodline Survivor Series. But let me know what you think about Survivor Series. This is going to be a pivotal moment that's going to start paving the way for what WrestleMania is going to look like. Okay, the next PLE is Royal Rumble. This year, we're not going to have a Cody winning Royal Rumble. I like Cody Rhodes, by the way. I just feel like I need Cody to do something new, something fresh. Is Roman winning the Royal Rumble? Nah, because then he'd go off fight Cody. He ain't going after the title this year. My picks to win. So I think the main event of Royal Rumble is going to be the men's Royal Rumble. I would like the women's Royal Rumble to main event it. Maybe they will. It's kind of a coin toss. I do think that there are more interesting stories in the men's Royal Rumble this year for both, either for Cody's title or for Gunther's title. I think there's more options and more heavy hitting players this year so that the men's Royal Rumble main events. If they did the women's Royal Rumble as the main event, I think Rhea wins, but I feel it's very telegraphed. So for this year, I am going to say the men's Royal Rumble main events. The winner, though, is interesting because there are a couple of paths they could go down and a lot of domino effects. So let's think that the winner of the Royal Rumble is going after Gunther's title, the World Heavyweight Championship. By the way, because I don't see Gunther dropping this title just yet. Potentially drop it. I don't think they need a giant long title reign with Gunther. But if somebody's going to go after the world title at WrestleMania, I do think that they would probably have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble. Should it be Punk? Well, that's up to you. You disagree. That's okay. But I think it logically, like, they wanted Punk last year and they couldn't do it because of the injury. Punk sells a ton of merchandise. He's one of the most popular acts they got. He doesn't wrestle a ton. I think WWE and especially CM Punk wants that main event WrestleMania moment for himself. And I think we were supposed to get that night 1 last year. So I gotta say, right now, my tune will change probably. I think CM Punk is most likely to win the Royal Rumble. They could do a tease where Punk wins and then he's gonna decide, hey, do I wanna go after Cody or do I wanna go after Gunther? Punk is my main pick right now. You could also, as an alternate, not an alternate, I'd still be just as happy to see this, Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble. With all the things that are happening this year, and I think a lot of fans wanna see Randy as a heel and go up against Cody, kind of get Cody out of the whole Bloodline story into something different. If I had it my way as well, I would say Randy Orton picks up that win and he goes after Cody for the WWE Championship. You can tell an amazing story for several months between Randy and Cody all the way through to Mania, and you get Cody finally kind of away from the Bloodline. Those are my 2 main picks for the Royal Rumble. Could The Rock show up at the Rumble and just enter in as number 30 or 31 because he's final boss and he just wants to? Maybe Rock shows up. That's my wild card. That's like my dark horse wild card moment is The Rock shows up at the Rumble number 31 and just wins the thing for himself. I could also see them doing that. Punk, Randy, those are my picks right now. Then you got Elimination Chamber. Okay, if Matt's logic falls through with all of this, I don't see the women's side picking up the main event at Elimination Chamber. They could, and it depends where it is. I don't know where it is right now for Chamber. I don't think it's been announced. But if they're doing the Chamber, last year they did Rhea's match as the main event. And then you got number 1 contendership matches in there. So here's what I think. Because if we're gonna go with what I believe is going to be your Royal Rumble winner in like CM Punk, I think that what you have is Drew McIntyre wins the Elimination Chamber match in the main event at Chamber beats Gunther at Chamber. I know a lot of people will say that's insane. Like, you can't have Gunther lose. I know it probably won't happen. I'm just saying, for the storyline purposes, what they have been building for like this year, you put Gunther through the ringer at the Chamber and he enters like number 1 and he finally loses, but it makes Gunther look strong because he basically goes through like 5 other guys in the Chamber, but finally gets beaten. Claymore, Drew McIntyre wins at Elimination Chamber and he wins the World Heavyweight Championship, thus setting up Drew versus Punk main event of WrestleMania. Or it's a triple threat, somehow Seth gets in there and you have champion Drew going up against Seth and Punk in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. That's my main pick. What do you do with Gunther? If Gunther drops the title between now, which is like around Bad Blood time, all the way to Mania, Gunther's going to be the champion. He might be main eventing WrestleMania. That'd be cool too. If Gunther drops the title, my wild pick is that it's Brock Lesnar and they do the Brock Gunther match one-on-one straight up and Gunther beats Brock. Another possible main event for Elimination Chamber is the women's chamber match. Number 1 contendership to go after, say, Liv Morgan. Let's say on SmackDown, it's Tiffany and Nia, and let's say at the Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair returns and picks up the Rumble win and is gonna fight Nia or Tiffany for the title. It's very telegraphed, at least right now. It feels to me Liv is gonna hold on to that world title all the way to Mania and is gonna have that final one-on-one match against Rhea, and Rhea is triumphant. That's a cool story to tell, but more roadblocks have to be put in place. I think you get Rhea then could win the chamber match, put Rhea in at number 1, and you stack the odds against her, and she goes through 5 other women, and she beats everybody, and then Rhea goes on to fight Liv at WrestleMania. So I could see Drew winning the chamber and winning the belt, or I could see Rhea winning and going off to Mania to fight Liv. All right, WrestleMania Night 1. And again, all of this is just subject to change every bloody minute. Punk versus Drew, or Punk Drew Seth for the world title, I feel is a strong main event for Night 1. You could do Liv versus Rhea Night 1 because the story has been building for so long, but I don't know if that's gonna really be big enough for WrestleMania Night 1 main event. If they do go with Punk, I can see the triple threat or the one-on-one Drew versus Punk one final time, but with the belt on the line, and they do that, and that closes that whole chapter for them, and CM Punk wins the world title. So right now, I am gonna say that is your Night 1 main event. Another possible option for Night 1 main event is Randy versus Cody for the WWE Championship, and you get Randy to win. So you can get a huge heel run of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes now fighting underneath to get that title. Possible options there, but you never know. Night 2. I think the default answer for so many of us is going to be Rock versus Roman. That is the match. It just depends on this story and how they're going to tell it from now until WrestleMania, and if it is going to be Final Boss versus Roman Reigns. Right now, where we are in the calendar, it does feel like it's going to lean that way. You're stacking all of these odds month after month for Roman Reigns against the Bloodline. And I think as we've kind of laid out here for a lot of the main events, it does feel like Roman, in some form or fashion, his teams, his allies, Roman is going to start taking down the Bloodline. Solo, he'll have a match against Jacob, like he'll have all of these moments, and eventually The Rock is going to show up to screw Roman out of, say, the Royal Rumble match, or finally just appear by, say, the Royal Rumble or after to confront Roman Reigns, to say that like he is final boss and he's been behind everything this entire time since WrestleMania. He finally approaches Roman Reigns, and that is the match. No title on the line, but it's your main event Night 2. They can do the match they finally want. Rock and Roman can do that match. It's in Vegas, which is a little bit of a full circle for when we had the whole promo segment at Las Vegas for WrestleMania 40, setting up the tag match. They could finally do it the way they want. And if it is Rock versus Roman Night 2, Night 1 main event then gets very interesting because it's kind of like, what's the best story that can main event? Is it Cody versus Randy? Punk versus Drew, or Punk Drew Seth for the world title? Rhea versus Liv? Gunther world champion versus somebody. But what are your picks for all of the PLEs for the rest of the year? Am I on track? Am I way off and just a big old dummy? You never know. But if you guys want to talk more about WWE, click this video right here. We got a lot more to go through. Have a great day. See ya.